Once again, good evening, everyone. My name is John Tabor. I'm the president of Loudon Photo Club. And tonight we have our competition night with the theme of industry, which is an image of or about industry. So the photographer was free to interpret industry in a creative way, and we're going to see some really interesting images tonight. And tonight's judge began his photography career as a high school student way back during the film days when he won a blue ribbon for his submission to a Scholastic Arts contest. Soon thereafter, one of his photographs was selected for the cover of a book titled A Commemorative History of Champaign County, Illinois from 1833 to 1983. And then fast forward to 2009 when he joined the digital age of photography with a Canon 30D. Then in early 2020, he switched to the OM system and now prefers the OM1. He's received several awards and has sold his photographs to individuals and a naturist company. You can also find him on Flickr.com, and he also manages the Virginia Beltway Photography Meetup on meetup.com. Photography is his passion. Nature photography is his calling. He lives in Virginia with his wife and dog, Diva, and tonight we're going to hear from David L. Crooks.
Thank you, John. Appreciate your introduction there and appreciate presenting to you guys competition tonight as your judge. Look forward to it as usual with competitions and themes. Generally can be kind of challenging to do to define the actual theme of industry. I actually did a search myself just to see how it was defined, and found one pretty good one that said there's four types of industry. There's a primary, which is using the actual for the raw materials. Secondary is manufacturing. The third way is the service, and then the fourth way is R&D. Which I didn't see too many of those fourth way here, but I think the other ones are pretty well covered within the photos today. So again, it feels like coming home. I was a member from like 2010, so I moved here to Annandale in 2014. So it feels good to be back presenting to you guys, talking to you guys again. See a lot of familiar faces and names. And so let's get going.
Excellent. I'm going to share my screen. David, can you confirm you see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. So with that, we'll open up tonight with novice color.
Okay.
All right, we're back at the beginning.
Thank you. So yeah, there's a lot of good variety of images here. This one, I think, really meets the theme of the fishing boat. I do like the light on the subject, and the red hat really pops out. I think it shows the environment. I think it could be cropped in a little bit. I'm not sure if the whole bottom part of it, and even on the right side could even be cropped in a little better, but otherwise it's a good image. We'll keep that in. Next. Another interesting image. Don't really see too many cargo ships like this. And a massive cargo ship. It's hard to tell if it's really raw materials, but it could be anything, obviously. Now it seems a little flat with the light. I guess the light's coming from the upper right, and it's like the back of the ship. And it's also mostly center, so it kind of makes it more static that way. Go to the next image. This another interesting image with all the lines, and it's overall pretty well exposed. I do like the lines and the shapes. You can only see a couple people, so it kind of and I guess as part of the story is not too many people in the mall. So I do like, I guess would like to have seen more people, at least a couple of people, but again, I guess it really tells the story of it. Go next image. It's kind of interesting image with I guess shows of the industry of the theater with the lights, kind of tough, lighting, shooting into the lights like that. Well, I mean, we'll talk about some about Border Patrol. Is one thing that I learned and seen, competitions that something to be aware of. To watch the edges. I know within digital it's not as important, but if you do happen to print it and you're going to get cropped into a different format, it could be an issue. So let's go watch the edges. We'll go to the next image, please. I do like the lighting of this one, the cruise ship. Overall, it's got a different, the really bright light on the image itself. Then it's the other color balance on the right side, kind of shows also two people watching the ship itself. So overall, it's a good image. Next. Thought this was a good landscape image. I like the lines and the patterns. Overall, I think it seems a little flat. Would like to have seen more contrast and maybe some shadows within it too. I mean, kind of a flat lighting. And go to the next image.
Okay, with 6 images in tonight's competition, we get a first and second place winner.
Okay, so first place, I go with the first image of the guy in the red hat. And then I will go with the landscape in as second place.
Place tonight goes to Susan Berry.
Very good.
Hi, this is one from Portugal, and these are, if I'm not mistaken, these were olive trees. Could possibly have been cork trees. I'm not sure because they were everywhere, and so that's their huge industry out there. So thank you, and I agree. I also thought it looked a little flat, but I was rushing, to be honest, to submit.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
First place tonight, Kristen D'Ambrosio. Kristen on. Here is it. All right.
Okay.
While I'm thinking about it, I'm going to move this down to the Best in Show group and move on to novice monochrome.
Okay, so yeah, I like this.
We'll go through them real quick. And we're back at the beginning.
Right. So I thought this was an interesting image. I guess it's supposed to be a bridge. I wouldn't really recognize that it is a bridge. I mean, obviously it's a kind of real close up of part of the bridge. So it's got a lot of white space to it and overall. So I think it does have the leaning lines, but it also has some of the Border Patrol problem. Also, if you wanted to crop this at all, it would take away some of it. So the image. We'll go to the next one. The people mover, I think it kind of has the same. It has all the nice leading lines. It brings you into the image. More effect in there too, but again, has some of the border patrol with the sign on the right. We'll go to the next image.
David, if you don't mind, can you expand on border patrol? I don't know if everyone here.
Sure. So mostly does affect if you want to print this image, if you want to put it in an 8x10 or something like that, you would lose some of the image on the just around the edges within a mat. And so definitely something to consider when you taking photographs is to make sure that your image has enough breathing room. I always, getting some mindset of trying to at least get my composition and I get it just right the way I want it. Sometimes I'll just take a step back and get another 2-3 feet around it, from where I'm standing. So get a little image, get some breathing room to the image so it's not so close on the edges for the subjects.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Yeah, this one has the same, you probably with some of the tags with it. I'm not really sure what this is. I guess it's some kind of containers with tags. And overall the exposure looks pretty good. It's all pretty well exposed and interesting tags, but they could actually, could use a little more breathing room to it. Next image. I did like this image as with the SpaceX, with building the rocket. It's kind of cool. And yes, one thing that I would like to improve is more of the sky. And several of the skies in this competition seem like there are a lot of blank skies, which is kind of funny to me because all you hear on following photography software companies, they all want to add all these ways to add replacement skies to your images in Photoshop and Luminar and these other programs now. And so, but it would be nice to have a little more detail in the background. But overall, I think it's a good image. Next. That's, yeah.
So with 4 images, we get a first place winner only.
Yeah, I'll pick the SpaceX.
Next winner is Susan Berry.
Okay, this is at Port Canaveral, and I went down to Florida just on a whim to visit my son, and it just so happened that they were having a manned space flight, which I did attempt to photograph at night and wasn't real super successful. But a day later, I was camping actually at the campground there, and I knew because I used to live there that they would be bringing in, this is the booster that falls from the rocket, and SpaceX has just miraculously come up with a way for it to actually come back and fall back down from the rocket and land on this barge. And then they bring it back into port, and then it will be refurbished for the next launch. So it's a very interesting industry, to say the least. And the sky was just blue. And you could barely see clouds. I put in a linear gradient, everything. I tried to boost it. I did not do a sky replacement because I don't know what the rules are about contest and sky replacement. So I left it as is.
Congratulations on a winning image.
Thank you.
Intermediate color.
Okay, so we've got the plane with
let's go through them all first,
sorry,
David, and then we'll come back to it. Yeah, we're back at the beginning.
Okay. That's it. I do like this image. It's got the nice color contrast between the fall colors and the leaves and the sky and the plane. Overall, I think it's pretty well exposed and pretty sharp image. I think we'll go to the next one. This one kind of seems like it's abandoned. Again, it's got the kind of blank sky to it. It just kind of shows the lines and running a whole lot of colors to it. It could almost be a black and white image. I think we'll go to the next one. And the fisherman. Seems like I would like to see more and more action. I mean, compared to the other fisherman image where with the red hat, if you go for the red here, it kind of takes you away from the people. Seems like there's not a whole lot of interaction between the two guys there in the boat. And also kind of would like to see what the fish are. I guess they're all in that container coming up, just pulling up. So it's a little more, also more centered. So and go to the next image. Yeah, I did like this one. Again, this one could almost be in black and white as well. And it's also got the bright light on the left side. I think I would tone that down a little bit, a little distracting through, but otherwise it's a good image. Next. And you got the planes. This one does have a real nice sky. With the row of planes, again, it's got the little border patrol. If you put this on a mat or something, we'd probably cut off the nose of the first plane on the left. And I don't think it needs as much of the foreground either. I don't think that really adds as much. I'll go to the next image. It's a nice image with the trucks in the snow. It does have this nice sky. It definitely seems very tilted. Not sure what's, I think could have been straightened out a little bit better. So I'm gonna correct a little bit. So we'll go to the next one. I guess in the food industry, yep. Seems like kind of materials, looks like for the food to be ready to be prepared, be completed. It's got some nice depth of field to it and sharpness to it. I think on the right, it's kind of out of focus on the edge. And I think that could have some of the problem with some of the border patrol there. But it's a good image. Next. The haystack. I do like the colors. It looks like almost a pink light in the clouds. And it's a stack of hay. This ready to be processed. To be continued. So it's another good image. I do like the texture of it. Next one. And the kitchen scene, late night. I did like this image overall. I mean, has a lot of good elements to it. I think it could be cropped a little bit from the right side. Don't need the yellow blankets a little it is kind of it takes away from the image and distracting along with the light switch behind his head. I think I would probably take that out. But otherwise, I do like the steam and everything going on with the atmosphere of the photo. Thanks. So I like this one as called the is the Ukraine crane. I thought that was pretty good rhyming there. So got some good color. What was distracting with it for the JW Marriott to be so white? I think that's it's the way it is with the image of the crane shots. I think this is one of the better ones. And it's still got kind of a blank sky in the background. And I think that kind of fits in with kind of the graphic elements of it. I think the next one. All right.
So we have 10 entries. That gives us a first, second, and third place.
Okay. Yeah, I think Through the Roof is first. That one, yep. We'll do the Ukraine crane was second. And then the haystacks was third.
Yeah. Third place winner this evening, Pennington.
Yeah, so this was taken at the Manassas battlefield in the fall when they cut all the hay down, I guess hay down to bale it up. And the answer to one of the questions from beginners that didn't know the rules on sky replacement, I'm pretty sure, my understanding is the sky has to be your own image. And this sky was my own image I replaced because it was a fairly flat gray sky. But I replaced it with this one. And so anyway, thank you, Dave.
Well done. Second place this evening, Hank Sloan.
Thanks. This is the construction site that's at Reston Station. And because of the theme of industry, that site particularly attracted me because there's actually 6 tower cranes on that site. And having done a fair amount of work in the industry, that's very unusual to have 6 tower cranes. So I was taking shots all around trying to get the 6 tower cranes, but in the end, I really couldn't do that very well. So I focused on this one and thought it was kind of a neat image. So thank you, David, for picking.
Well done. And the winner tonight, Sarah Pennington.
Hi, thank you. This was taken at Cary Furnace up in Pennsylvania a few years ago. I thought this old furnace thing was really cool looking, so I spent a lot of time taking pictures of it, and this one was the one that turned out best. I did try to tone down that bright spot. Obviously, I was unsuccessful, so I will have to see if I can figure out a way to do that better. But thank you.
Congratulations. So move on to intermediate monochrome.
Oh, I like that.
And we're back at the beginning.
Okay. Thought this was a well done shot. And I do like the sky and the composition of the roofers working on the roof. That was very, very well done. Nice for the depth of field is good. Could watch a little border patrol on the right side, but overall, I think it's a good image. Next. I did like this image a lot. It's like the lines of the boat, the fishing boat out there, and then got the angles of the mountains in the background. I thought that was really well done. I guess one thing to improve again would be kind of the sky in the background, just a little more detail. Just seems like it's just a little bit of the sky, a lot of blank sky. So that's the only thing I want to improve, but otherwise it's a good image. Next. And teeth, this is kind of interesting shot. I do like the depth of focus right in the center. Shows the teeth of the subject and real, just real narrow composition. The exposure was done well. Contrast. Next image. This one, I do like the sepia tone to it. Kind of gives that old time. Do like it says industry on it. Although one thing that could help the image would be to kind of straighten it a little bit. It seems like everything's sliding to the left downhill. So to try to get at least something that's just a little more level. Next image. We have the trucks again, I think, same as with the snow. Overall, it's a good image. I think with the sky and everything, I think that there's more picture within the picture. I think it would crop in more. I don't think you really need the trucks on the right or the triangle in the bottom left. I think that could be cleaned up, maybe even straightened a little bit. It's kind of hard to tell in that angle, but otherwise, good image. Next. And medical sign, this seems like it's just like a refrigerator or something. This is a symbol. And overall, it's okay, but I think it's kind of hard to really tell what it is when I'm looking at besides just the logo. Next image. I do like this image a lot with the perspective. It's got real good depth of focus to it. Everything's pretty much sharp from top to bottom. Even got little two eyes up there in the sky. With those, pretty good. So it's a good image. And more of the cranes at Preston. So this one got a really dark sky. Kind of fills the frame with the cranes, excuse me. Fills the frame with the cranes, and otherwise I think it's a good image. And doesn't really wow me too much, but I think it shows the industry pretty well with all the cranes going across. Next image.
We're back at the beginning. So with 8 images, we get a first and second place winner.
The first place is the fishing boat. The second one, yep. And then, yeah, the piping with looking up. That one, yes.
Okay. Place tonight goes to Rick Laduca. Here's Rick Maynard. Gonna crack wise about, hey Rick, you're watching this on video, you got to be present to win. I won't do that. So, anyway, congratulations to Rick on the second place win. Move on to the first place winner, Bernice Lewis.
Hey there. This was taken up in Alaska, and it's in the Inside Passage, and this guy was out there fishing all day, and it was kind of rainy and foggy, so that's why the mountains behind it is kind of whatever, when the rain, and this is probably several miles from shore. That's how large the mountains are.
Congratulations on that. So, experienced color. We're back at the beginning.
Okay, yeah, we'll say, I mean, this is, all of the images have been really good. And it's really been, I mean, for a tough theme like industry, we really live around a whole lot of industry like you see here. So it's really good, great images all around. I agree, Audrey. So with this one, yeah, I do like this image a lot. It's, it shows someone in action. It's not quick action, but someone is actually working, and I like the way that the steam is going behind them, kind of frames going up around them. And so, I guess one thing that I would add to improve it would be something like in the foreground. I think it could be cropped up a little bit from the bottom, just a little bit, just kind of just do more thirds or something, just to put more focus in within the image, but otherwise it's a good image. Next. And then a fishing boat. Got more interaction with the fishermen here, and I see in the fishing net and containers, and I got some interaction there. Like one silhouette in the background is kind of cool. I think if one way to improve it would be to kind of crop off the bottom with. I don't think that really adds too much to the image. I think it would kind of focus more within the subjects. Kind of cut the bottom part up a little bit. You kind of see that. Next image. It's a good portrait here. The guy, I'm not sure if it's as much with the theme, I guess, with the worker with the Hanover Foods. So he's working with the truck driver, or whoever does with working with it. But it's a good portrait. I like that image. Next one. This was another. It's even saying good images, but I think this seems like it was more of a composite. I can kind of tell it's like within the the bags and the machine, and then the potato chips on the bottom, and the containers too. But I think it really comes together pretty well. I like that one. Next image. And the sewing, I thought this was a good image too. Got the nice depth of field on the one spool, leaving everything else out of focus. And so I do like this one as well. Like the colors in it. Next. This one I think didn't do as well, I think. And so overall it's a nice eagle with the fish. It doesn't seem to really fit with, why is it lying in front of that structure? I assume this is kind of Winkle Dam, but I've been there many times, so I'm not really sure, but it's such a big place, it could be part of that. And so I think we'll go to the next image. Next. the brewery. This is pretty nice graphically, like the well lit, a little bright in some parts of it, but I think it's overall I do like the tanks and exposed and that, and it's well done. Next image. Another overall, this electric plant. It's overall well exposed. Lots of depth of field. You can definitely get the scale with the people there. I mean, it's kind of busy a little bit, but I think you got enough focal points. I'm not sure what you could take out of it, or even zoom in more, but it tells a pretty good story there. Next image. Train tracks. I like this one as well. I think it, yeah, I mean, obviously it starts with the left signal flag, and with the obviously with the leading lines of the tracks. It's got the one sign that's on the ground, and probably would clone that out, maybe even crop it in a little bit on the right. That's another good image. Next. Another industry building with lots of patterns. Again, it's kind of blank sky with it, but overall, I do like the repeating patterns. Next image. And more of the cranes. Overall, kind of fills the frame with cranes there are. It does, I did like the building in the back, but there is the overlap of the crane back there. I think I would improve the image if that wasn't there. Next image. Yeah, this is another nice image with the steam and the starburst, well exposed. And I'm not sure much what else to say about it, but it's a good image. Next. And then certainly make it tough in this one. It's definitely shows the industry, the pipes and that. With the leading lines of the pipes coming in from the center up, takes you through the image. I think I would kind of crop the left side a little bit, might improve it, or even darken it. It seems a little out of focus and a little just is more distracting on the left. So next. And this interesting shot was how I got, I guess I painted it red to really alert. Interesting, it's well exposed, sharp enough. It is kind of out of focus on the right side. I'm not sure what caused that. I might crop that out or clone it out. Next image. All right.
Back at the beginning, we have 14 images, and that means we get to have one honorable mention.
We can start with the honorable mention with the first one, checking the wheel. And then, let's see what I got here. I did make notes through here. The pipes, second to the last, the first. And then, 1 second, let's see. And then the sewing one will be second.
Which one?
Sewing, yes. And then the Utz one is third.
The which one?
Utz.
Oh, Utz.
Yep.
Great. Audrey with honorable mention tonight. Image. She's a little shy tonight. We'll catch her in a little bit. Third place is Cecilia.
Hi, can you hear me? Can
I can.
you hear me? Okay, good. That is the Utz factory up in Hanover, Pennsylvania. And it is a composite image because I took pictures of the inside with the potato chips on the conveyor belt and then them flying out of the hopper there onto the washer. And this image of the old cans and the bags and behind the potatoes flying out of the thing is a display in the lobby when you walk into the factory. So I just thought, well, I wanted to show a little story here with the potatoes coming out and the chips being done and the bags and a little bit of the history with the old cans there. So I just put it all together. It was fun to do.
What?
But I did get kicked out of the factory line because you're not supposed to be taking pictures in there.
Oops.
Oopsie. But thank you for the placement.
Congrats on that. And Audrey did confirm that she did hear you, and unfortunately, she has no audio to brag about her image. So we'll hear about it later. We'll move on to second place. That goes to Patricia.
Thank you. That was at the Fiber Festival in Percival this past October. And so she was sitting and spinning yarn. And I go every year with my daughter because she's quite the knitter. So thank you.
Done. First place goes to Jeff.
Wow. Hi there. Thanks very much, Dave. I really appreciate it. This is Carrie Furnace. Sorry, we have another TV on in the background. This is Carrie Furnace. We went to a few years ago, and it was a cold, rainy day. And just because it was overcast and just because everything was damp and wet, the lighting came out really nice. And I just saw this shot with the furnace and that thing, kind of tubey thing going up and just kind of leading lines everywhere and the detail and the graffiti. I thought it would be a nice composition. So thank you. Thanks, Dave. Good to see you again.
Congratulations on that, Jeff. So, and up on Experience Monochrome. And we're back at the beginning.
Right. All right, the horses. So I do like the action of the horses, all real sharp, well exposed. It's a little tight for me, but it's overall it's a pretty good shot. I think I would to improve it, maybe to kind of crop off the bottom a little bit, which yeah, I think might will help a little bit always. So yeah, we'll go to the next image. Yeah, I wasn't sure. It looks like some kind of oil piping type things. Such a panorama. It's got the good patterns and really exposed with the darks and the contrast. But the building, especially the building on the left, is a little distracting. I'm not sure if that kind of helps or hurts it. Oh, it's a good image. Next. And a fishing boat. I like this. It does have more of a blank sky again. Those nicely imaged, exposed. I think it's very center also within those skies. So I think maybe something with the sky replacement might help it a little bit. That's some more interest to the photo, in my opinion. Next. Mount Stormy. I do like these clouds and the smoke. I guess it seems a little more, I'm not sure if it's as actual level, horizontal. It seems pretty tight on the bottom as well. I'd like to see more space on the bottom. But overall, I think it's well exposed. Next image. Another well exposed image. It's kind of busy. There's a lot of lines and a lot of depth to it. Kind of get lost in there. So it's a little busy. It's got very interesting. Next image. Yep. Okay. And tractor. This one got a good sky. It seems overall image seems a little flat. It's got some dark areas, but I think the tractor itself could be a little more something to pop it from the background. It seems like it kind of gets lost to me in the background. Next image. And chains. I'm not really sure how it fits into the theme as much, but it does have the depth of field and exposure to it. Next image. With some a lot of gauges and locks. Kind of shows the pattern. It's well exposed. It's got a dark triangle on the right side. Kind of a little distracting to me. Overall, I think it's a good image. Next. And the silk mill. There's a lot of good patterns to it. There's some depth to it, but it seems a little flat though. It's not seeing a lot of little bright whites to make it, and give more contrast. I think would really make the image pop better. I think that's it. Next image.
Back at the beginning with 9 images, we get a first, second, third.
See what I got here. So, and the fishing boat will be first. I like the fishing boats. Then Mount Storm is the smokestack is second. And the horse is our third, excuse me. Third, yes.
Third place tonight. Celia.
Hi. Thank you. You know what? I went back and forth on whether to crop, David, what you said about cropping the foreground or the right and give more room on the right. I went back and forth on that, and I actually took out the red post that was to the right of the first horse. And I thought it took away from the scene. So I cropped that out and left the bottom, but I went back and forth on which way to crop it. But yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, this is Saratoga Raceway. I actually took this with my very first digital camera, Konica Minolta Maxim 5. I think it was a 6 megapixel camera. And I'm always impressed when I look at this shot. It's like, wow, that was really sharp, you know? And yeah, it's one of my favorites from our time up there. Thank you.
Congratulations. Second place. Author Beth Fetter.
Thank you. Yeah, Mount Storm in West Virginia. It was a cloudy day, and so I loved how the steam kind of made it look like it was filling up with all the clouds.
Okay. Congratulations. And first place goes to Tricia.
Thank you. Well, at least my dry spell has ended. Yeah, that was in Florida. And it was kind of a misty morning, which is kind of why I like the image. So thank you very much.
That. So now David has the job of picking the best in show. David, you.
I just have to pick one, huh?
Only one.
Darn, it is tough. It is tough. I might have to pull out the one that what gets the most eye appeal to me is probably the red hat guy. I think I do like picking the novice also for that too. But I think that what gets the eye popping the red hat. So it's well done.
Okay. Kristen, on yet? Well, not on. So we'll have to let her know via video.
All right.
Right, everyone. Congratulations to all the winners tonight. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.